Here's a trivia question for you. In what book do we first hear about the Amazing Maurice and his educated rodents? If your answer is this book, you'd be wrong. Hello, I'm Mark, this is The Book Thing, and this is my review for The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. So The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents is a Discworld novel, but it is a standalone Discworld book, and for very good reason, because this is intended as the first book for younger readers in the Discworld. It's certainly not the last book that's aimed at younger readers. The next one is going to be The Wee Free Men, which is the first in the Tiffany Aching series. And these are distinguished from the other ones with language that's maybe slightly less colourful, although Pratchett is never particularly profane in the first place. Maybe a subject matter that is slightly less darker in some places, although sometimes the Tiffany Aching books can get pretty dark, and actually there's some dark elements to Amazing Maurice as well. From what I can see, one of the main distinctions between Terry Pratchett's children's books and Terry Pratchett's normal Discworld books is that the children's books have actual chapters in them, which the other Discworld books don't. So if you're the sort of person who struggles to put down a book until they've reached the end of a chapter, then when it comes to Discworld books, apart from his children's ones, you're going to find yourself in for some long reading sessions. So The Amazing Maurice is essentially the Discworld version of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, except instead of a piper who is called upon to rid a town of its plague of rats, it's actually more of a con. Maurice is a cat who, due to eating something from outside of the magical unseen university, now has high intelligence and the ability to speak. However, he's not the only one. There is also a tribe of rats who are also able to think and speak as well. And they are trying to find themselves a better life for themselves, where they can live somewhere where they're not hunted. Maurice manages to convince them that in order to find such a place, they're going to need some money. And in order to get some money, they enlist the help of a young piper, just referred to as the kid, who so they can then go from town to town, create their own little mini plague of rats, and then the piper can go in and pipe the rats out of the town. This is all going well until they reach a town which already seems to have a plague of rats, which the people are living in fear of, but which is quite frankly quite strange, because any of the rats that have arrived with Maurice and the kid, they can't seem to find any rats anywhere. So there is some sort of mystery going on. So even though the instinct for many of them is to just get out of town, Maurice is fairly insistent that he wants to get one last job under his belt before they all go their separate ways. But he may have bitten off more than he can chew, because there's certainly something more dangerous going on, something dark going on under the surface. I am actually reading the entire Discworld series, so if you'd like to see some of the other reviews that I've done, please check out my channel. And if you like what you see, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons as well. This is a great book, I'd say, for some, I'd say older kids, anything from about age 8 up. The story is really, really funny. It's got Pratchett's trademark humour, obviously, and he has a nice little element of sort of silly crudeness, the sort of thing that it wouldn't be out of place in a Roald Dahl book as well, which he manages to tune to a kid's sense of humour extremely well. The rats are a source of joy in this. They've all got some very distinct characters in it, and because they get all of their names from pieces of rubbish that they find and labels that they find on packets and things, you've got rats named things like Dangerous Beans and Ham and Pork and things like that. The character of Maurice is, again, he has the moral ambiguity that a cat does, but that is plagued by the intelligence of a human as well. And actually seeing that play out, there's a little bit of complexity there, which is a lot of fun to see as well. It's a nice short book. It doesn't outstay its welcome. I think even though it's been written for children, it's not going to bore adult fans of the Discworld. And Pratchett is still going through one of his periods of his most highly creative and some of his best writing. So yeah, Amazing Maurice is definitely worth a read. And just to be clear, I know some people like to refer to it as Amazing Maurice, but Pratchett called it Maurice, I'm calling it Maurice. I gave it 4 stars, and you know what? It wouldn't necessarily be a bad place to start on Discworld if you've never read any Discworld books before. And by the way, in case you're wondering, the first ever mention of The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents was way back in Reaper Man. Again, it was a reference to a Pied Piper of Hamelin-style conman, but yeah, it was as far back as Reaper Man. So that was my review for The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. I hope you enjoyed that. The next book I will be reviewing is Night Watch, and I hope to see you for that one. In the meantime, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that, and take care.